YSK, the term a genuine leather, it is not to reassure you that their product is made of leather, rather it's the name of the lowest grade of leather a company can use. Genuine is not a kind/type/grade of leather. This the biggest myth in my industry. I work for a leather goods company that my dad started in 1969 and we've spent millions on leather over the years from some of the best tanneries in the world. Yes, genuine can certainly refer to a bad/cheap kind of leather called a finished split, which is basically cheap suede with a coating to make it look smooth, but were you to call up a tannery, you couldn't ask to buy a genuine leather and expect them to know what you wanted. Technically speaking, full grain is a kind of top grain and all leather is genuine. It's just that in the case of lower quality companies, they'll use the term with the highest perceived value they can get away with. There are exceptions. I can name some great products stamped genuine leather and some junk products labeled full grain. Red Wing Heritage is a good example of a great company who uses the word genuinely. I own several pairs of their boots that have genuine leather stamped in the sole. Neither the leather used in the uppers or the sole is low quality. By its legal definition, at least in the USA, a genuine is not nor has it ever been a specific class/kind/type/grade of low-quality leather. The breakdown you tend see around the net, full grain, top grain, genuine/split, bonded, isn't an official grading scale, no government or leather trade group uses it, just a general guide could use you when you can't find more out about the leather or the brand. In spite of what people say, bonded leather cannot be called genuine legally in the USA without qualifiers like bonded, reconstituted, etc. This above is the only legal regulation about leather labeling you'll find in the USA. Here's a post where a spokesperson from Horween, the most famous tannery in the USA, explains the actual meaning of top grain. While he doesn't get into a genuine, just the fact that he says full grain is type of top grain is enough to debunk the grading scale. https://stridewise.com/top-grain-versus-full-grain-versus-split-grain-leather. Additionally, full grain isn't a guarantee you're getting good leather, it just means they haven't sanded the hide, but there's so much more that goes into making good leather than just that one step. The tanning solutions and finishes are like the secret sauce for some tanneries, which is why full grain leather from Horween in Chicago will cost $10 per square foot, whereas full grain from a tannery in Pakistan is under $2. Here's a little more accurate breakdown. Leather, aka top grain, is the outside, the smooth part. Suede has two fuzzy sides because it's split from the bottom of the top grain. From a tannery perspective, top grain includes all leather that's not a split from the underside of the leather. Within that category, leather can be full grain, nothing done to the surface, corrected grain aka sanded and embossed. Some leathers can be both sanded and embossed. Just sanded leather is known as nubuck. Sanded and then finished is known as corrected grain, usually. There are hundreds of variations on embossed patterns. You can go further into finishes and other qualities: waxed, T-core, pull-up, pigmented, aniline, semi-aniline. Plus loads more. Leather that retains its smooth side but that's used for the suede side is known as rough-out, full-grain suede or reverse. With suede there are less variations and the variations don't have many specific names beyond individual tannage names used by specific tanneries. A main difference how fuzzy it is, how much nap. They can also wax suede and do some other cool stuff. Check out CF Stead's website to see some really unique suedes. It's also of note that Horween's retail site sells the suedes at a price comparable to their full-grain leathers. The only leather that can legally be called a genuine, that I'd say is always bad is a kind of suede is called a finished split. Finished splits, painted or PU-coated, are bad because they are attempts to make fuzzy leathers look like smooth top grain. The fake outer layer doesn't last. You probably won't see this term on a product description, but it is the actual industry term for this type of leather. With all of these except the finished split, no single of these grades types is really any better than others. Even then, there are ways to a finished suede that are unique and don't try to pretend to be something they're not from companies like CF Stead. Just look at how many variations there are in just one company's offerings for suede, the lowest tier according to our aforementioned breakdown. Also just Googled CF Stead boots to get in the idea that a suede is not a low grade when made by a quality company. If they are from a good tannery, any type of leather and even suede will last almost the same regardless. Conversely, something that people generally associate with quality like full grain won't be as good as a non-full grain leather from a lesser tannery. Same goes for veg tan versus chrome tan. Horween deals in both and pricing is less than $1 difference per foot. Essex versus Chromexel. As Nick Horween said in this interview, There's a feeling in the market that vegetable tanned leather is better or more environmentally friendly than chrome tanned leather. They are just different and require different types of management through manufacturing. We do both and they each have their strengths and shortcomings. TLDR, there are high-end tanneries that deal in all of these types. It's incorrect to call them grades of leather, and also low-end tanneries that can do any of these types. You can actually spend as much on high-quality suede as a full grain from a lesser tannery. Same is true for veg tan versus chrome tan. Which is why saying that these differences, grades, are a reliable way to judge quality is incorrect. Another reason is why it's incorrect is that none of the terms tell you the animal. A full-grain lambskin is completely different in terms of durability when compared to any type of cowhide. Also, fun fact, the full-grain leather is the only grade that will naturally patina and get darker over time from the oils of your hand/skin. The patina actually makes the product feel softer and even more luxurious. One very easy way to spot a fake Louis Vuitton bag is Louis Vuitton almost always uses full-grain leather for their handles/piping. Fake bag handles won't darken the way a natural patina would. Moral of the story, you can't always fake quality. There's usually a plethora of other ways to identify a fake, and it almost always boils down to not being able to skip on quality.